The rain hammered the church roof like accusations from a vengeful God. But inside Theo's chest, the storm raged fiercer, a thunderclap of betrayal that had chased him across 3 states and a decade of buried secrets. He clutched the faded invitation in his fist, the elegant script blurring under his thumb. Elena Marie Harlan requests the honor of your presence. His sister's wedding. The one his parents had sworn he'd never see. Not after the night they locked the door behind him. His coming-out confession still echoing like a gunshot in the hollow halls of their Kansas farmhouse. Theo Harlan, 28 now, stared at the cracked motel mirror in downtown Chicago, his hazel eyes hollowed by years of running, wondering if love could ever outpace the ghosts he'd left behind. It had started small. That unraveling. Theo remembered the summer he was 18. The air thick with cicada hum and the scent of cut hay. When Alex Whitaker first rolled into town on a dusty motorcycle. All sharp grins and green eyes that saw too much. Alex was Elena's high school crush. The golden boy from the neighboring county. Son of a Baptist preacher with dreams bigger than the Flatlands could hold. They met at a county fair bonfire. Theo nursing a stolen beer. Alex tossing horseshoes with effortless charm. You're Elena's brother. Right. The quiet one who fixes engines like they're puzzles. Alex had said, his voice cutting through the crackle of flames. Close enough that Theo caught the faint spice of his cologne mixed with sweat. Theo nodded, heart stuttering. Because Alex wasn't just talking, was looking. Really looking. In a way that made the world tilt. But Theo buried it deep. He was the good son. The one who helped Dad mend fences at dawn. Who drove Elena to choir practice without complaint. Gay. That word was a whisper in the dark. A sin scribbled in the margins of his Bible. Not something to voice in a town where rainbows were just storm warnings. Alex lingered that summer, courting Elena with wildflower bouquets and late-night drives to the quarry. But it was Theo he sought out in stolen moments, fixing the chain on that motorcycle under the hood of the old barn. Their fingers brushing over greasy tools. Laughter spilling like secrets. You ever think about getting out of here? Alex asked once, wiping oil from his brow, his knee pressing against Theo's in the tight space. Theo swallowed hard, the heat of that touch branding him. Every damn day, he admitted. And Alex's smile lingered too long. A promise unspoken. By fall, Elena and Alex were official. The town buzzing with envy over their fairy tale romance. Theo watched from the edges. A shadow at family dinners. His smiles forced as Alex's hand rested on Elena's knee under the table. Jealousy gnawed at him. Not of her, but of the ease with which Alex could touch. Could love in the open. Theo threw himself into community college. Wrenching on cars at the local garage. Dreaming of Chicago's skyline where anonymity might let him breathe. But the dreams cracked open one Christmas Eve. When Dad found the hidden magazine under Theo's mattress, men entwined in ways that weren't sin in Theo's heart, but damnation in his father's eyes. You think this is funny? Boy. Mocking everything we stand for. Harlan Sr.'s voice boomed. The magazine crumpling in his fist as Mom wept in the corner, clutching her cross necklace. Elena hovered in the doorway, 16 and wide-eyed, whispering, Theo, what is it? Tell them it's not. But Theo stood tall, chin lifted, the words tumbling out like a dam breaking. It's me, Dad. I'm gay, and I won't hide it anymore. The silence that followed was a void, sucking the air from the room. Then the door slammed. His duffel bag tossed onto the porch steps into the snow. Don't come back until you fix yourself, Dad growled. And Mom's sobs were the last sound Theo heard as he walked into the night, hitchhiking to a bus station with $20 and a heart in shards. Chicago swallowed him whole at first, neon lights and crowded L trains a bomb to his isolation. He crashed on a cousin's couch, then rented a shoebox apartment in Wicker Park, sleeping on a futon amid stacks of auto manuals. The garage job turned full-time. His hands black with grease by day. Nights spent in dimly lit bars where men like him danced without fear. But freedom tasted bittersweet. Every laugh echoed with Elena's voice. Every stranger's touch lacked Alex's fire. Letters came sporadically, Elena's scrawled notes pleading for forgiveness. Mom's typed missives laced with scripture and silence on the subject. Dad's? None. Theo wrote back once. A single page, I love you all. That's never changed. It bounced returned. Address unknown in his heart. Years blurred. Theo turned 22. Then 25. His body filling out with muscle from long hours under hoods. His laugh coming easier among friends who knew his story without judgment. Marcus, his first real boyfriend, was a barista with a poet's soul. Their evenings tangled in coffee-scented sheets, whispering futures. But Marcus left for grad school in Seattle, and Theo learned the ache of goodbye all over again. He dated sparingly after a firefighter with a gentle smile, a graphic designer whose wit matched his own, but none stuck. None ignited that old spark. Alex haunted him still. Glimpses in Elena's updates, engaged now, planning a spring wedding back home. He's perfect. Theo. She'd write. Her words a knife twist. You'd like him if you came. But the invitation stopped after the last one, shredded by Dad's hand. Elena's apology call laced with tears. They said no. I'm so sorry. Please understand. Theo understood too much. He built walls of routine early mornings at the shop, evenings volunteering at a youth center for queer kids, teaching them to rebuild engines as metaphors for mending souls. You're stronger than the breaks, he'd tell a scared 15-year-old named Jamie, echoing words he'd willed himself to believe. At 28, he was steady, if not wholly a man who'd traded family for survival, love for safety. Until the call came on a drizzly October afternoon, his phone buzzing amid the clang of tools. Theo's phone. He answered, wiping sweat from his brow. A pause. Then a voice like gravel and grace. Theo. It's Alex. God. It's good to hear you. His heart seized. The garage spinning. Alex. Here. Now after 10 years of radio silence. Of imagined lives apart. What do you want? Theo managed. Voice steady despite the quake inside. I'm at the altar tomorrow. Elena's dress is pressed. The cake's 3 tiers high. But I can't do it. Theo. I never could. Not without you. The line crackled. Rain mirroring the downpour in Theo's veins. Alex's breath hitched. I've been running from this since that summer. From us. But I'm done pretending. Meet me. Please. Before I lose everything again. Theo's grip tightened. The invitation from years ago unfolding in his mind like a map to redemption. The wedding. The family that cast him out. And Alex. The groom who chose truth over vows. He closed his eyes. The hook of fate reeling him back. Where? He whispered. The word of surrender. A spark reigniting the boy who'd walked away into the snow. The drive south from Chicago felt like rewinding a life. Mile markers ticking backward through cornfields and culverts. Theo's old pickup groaning under the weight of unspoken years. He hadn't slept. Alex's call looping in his head like a faulty cassette draw. Urgent. Laced with the tremor of a man teetering on a ledge. By dawn, he'd packed a bag. Left a note for his boss, family emergency. Back soon. If only it were that simple. Family had become a word as jagged as barbed wire. One he'd bandaged over with time and distance. Now, it pulled taut again, drawing him to Harlan, Kansas, the town that birthed him and broke him in equal measure. Theo crossed the state line as the sun crested, painting the sky in bruised purples and golds. Memories flooded unbidden, the quarry where he'd skinny dipped with cousins. the church steeple piercing the horizon like a judgment. He wondered about Elena. Had she changed? Her laughter still bright as fireflies? Or had the family's iron grip dimmed her, turning dreams to duty? And Alex? Theo's knuckles whitened on the wheel. That summer boy had grown into a man, a fiancé on the cusp of vows. Yet his voice on the phone carried the same reckless hunger. Us. The word hung like smoke, curling around Theo's resolve. What if this was a trap? A ploy to salvage the wedding's facade? Or worse, a confession too late, leaving scars afresh? He pulled into a roadside diner just past noon, the bell jingling like an old friend. The place hadn't changed: checkered floors, pie under glass, locals nursing coffee and grudges. Theo slid into a booth, ordering black coffee to steady his nerves. His reflection in the window showed a stranger, stubble-shadowed jaw, eyes shadowed deeper than the gathering clouds. 28 felt ancient some days, a lifetime of what-ifs stacked like unpaid bills. He'd built something in Chicago, roots in concrete. Not soil, but they felt shallow now, easily uprooted by one call. The door swung open, and there he was, Alex Whitaker, taller than memory, broader in the shoulders, his green eyes scanning until they locked on Theo's. He wore jeans faded to white at the knees, a leather jacket zipped against the chill, hair tousled as if he'd raked fingers through it 100 times. No suit, no polish, just the man who'd haunted Theo's quietest hours. Alex crossed the diner in 3 strides, sliding into the booth opposite, his knee brushing Theo's under the table. The contact was electric, a jolt Theo hadn't braced for. You came, Alex breathed, a smile cracking his face like dawn through frost. But his eyes, God, those eyes held storms, gratitude warring with guilt. You sounded like you might jump if I didn't, Theo replied, aiming for dry humor. But it came out raw. He searched Alex's face for lies, for the boy who'd chosen Elena's hand over stolen glances. Talk. Fast. Wedding's tomorrow. Alex leaned forward, elbows on the scarred formica, voice low to dodge the waitress's curious glance. I proposed to her 2 years ago. Theo. Thought it was right town expectations. Her folks' hopes. She's my best friend. Always has been. But every night, staring at that ring on her finger, I saw you. That barn. The fair. The way you'd look at me like I was the only star worth chasing. His fingers drummed a frantic rhythm, betraying the calm he feigned. I buried it. Told myself it was phase. Confusion. Preacher's kid. Remember? Sin's got teeth here. Theo's throat tightened, coffee turning bitter on his tongue. He'd imagined this confession in fever dreams, but hearing it, Alex's voice cracking on yut carved deeper. And Elena. She knows. Alex nodded. Slow. Pained. Last week. I broke down. Told her everything. She's furious. Heartbroken. But she gets it. More than anyone. Said the wedding's off if it's not real. But your folks hers now. Too, they caught wind somehow. Dad Harlan cornered me yesterday. Bible in hand. Fix this. Or you're out like Theo. The name landed like a slap. Theo's family reduced to a cautionary tale. He pushed his mug away, the clink echoing his fracturing calm. They still talk about me like a ghost. Or a lesson. Bitterness edged his words. But beneath it, a child's ache for the father who'd once taught him to bait a hook. The mother who'd sung lullabies. Why now? Alex. 10 years. You could have found me sooner. Alex reached across, hesitating before covering Theo's hand with his own warm, calloused from ranch work, trembling just enough to betray him. Cowardice. And hope. Stupid hope that pretending would fade you. But it didn't. Seeing Elena's joy, planning this life fight, all felt hollow without truth. Without you. His thumb traced a circle on Theo's knuckles. A gesture so intimate the diner faded, leaving just them, suspended in what might have been. Theo pulled back, not from revulsion, but survival. The walls he'd built groaning under the assault. This isn't a movie. Alex. Run off with the black sheep. Cue the happy ending. My family's poison. Yours too. Elena's caught in the crossfire. He stood, tossing a tin on the table, heart pounding a war drum. Go back. Marry her if it'll make peace. I'll fade again. But Alex was up, blocking the door, his frame filling the frame like resolve made flesh. No. I'm done fading. Come with me to the church, the farm, wherever. Face them. Or we drive north. Start over. But not apart. Not anymore. Outside, the sky split open, rain sheeting down as Theo dashed to his truck, Alex piling in beside him without invitation. The engine roared to life, wipers slashing at the blur, and Theo drove toward Harlan, toward reckoning, because turning back felt like dying twice. The road unspooled, secrets spilling in the cab's confines, Alex's lonely nights, Elena's quiet support, the letters Alex had written but burned. Theo shared fragments Chicago's grind, the kids he mentored, the love he'd chased and lost. Laughter crept in, tentative, then full, easing the miles. They reached the Harlan farm at dusk, the white clapboard house glowing like a beacon of judgment. Lights blazed in every window. Cars lining the drive, relatives gathered for rehearsal dinner, oblivious to the fracture lines. Theo killed the engine, silence amplifying the tick of cooling metal. I can't do this, he whispered, but Alex's hand on his thigh steadied him. You already are. Alex's voice was fierce, eyes locked. For us. For Elena. The door creaked open before they reached it. Elena silhouetted in the frame, her auburn hair loose, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. She launched at Theo, arms wrapping tight, sobs muffled in his jacket. You idiot. I knew you'd come. Over her shoulder, shadows shifted Mom's hesitant form, Dad's rigid stance. The air thickened with the scent of pot roast and pine. Home's cruel embrace. Theo stepped inside, Alex at his back, the threshold crossing a decade's exile. Words hung unsaid, but the hook had set, no running now. Only the raw pull of mending what time had torn. The dining room table stretched like a battlefield, laden with china and crystal that gleamed under the chandelier's unforgiving light. Every place setting a silent indictment. Harlan Sr. presided at the head, his face carved from the same flinty granite as the fields outside. Fork paused midair as Theo and Alex entered arm in arm behind Elena. Mom hovered by the sideboard, her hands twisting a dish towel into knots, eyes darting between her prodigal son and the groom who'd upended the evening's script. Aunts and uncles' faces from Theo's childhood, softened by years and cataracts, froze in mid-conversation, whispers dying like embers doused. Sit. Dad commanded, voice a low rumble that brooked no argument, gesturing to empty chairs at the table's foot. Theo obeyed, muscles coiled, Alex settling beside him with a solidarity that felt both shield and spark. Elena took her place opposite, her smile brittle as spun sugar, squeezing Theo's foot under the tablia, Morse code of "We'll survive this." The clink of silverware resumed, tentative, as casseroles passed hand to hand. Small talk skittered like minnows, Cousin Rita's new grandbaby, Uncle Joe's bumper corn crop. But the air hummed with the unsaid, tension coiling tighter with each forced laugh. Theo picked at his green beans. Appetite fled, memories assaulting him, the same table where he'd carved his initials as a boy, where family prayers once bound them like glue. Now, it was a confessional, and he the accused. It broke over pie, as inevitable as the thunderstorm rattling the windows. Dad set his fork down with deliberate care, the china plate scraping like teeth on bone. Heard you two had a little road trip today. His gaze pinned Alex, then slid to Theo, heavy with the weight of sermons unspoken. Care to explain why the groom's gallivanting when he should be rehearsing vows? Alex straightened, color rising in his neck. But Elena beat him to it, her voice slicing the hush. Because the vows aren't real. Dad. Not anymore. She met his stare unflinching. The girl who'd once trembled at raised voices, now a woman forged in quiet fires. Alex loves Theo. Always has. And I'm done pretending it's me he sees in that mirror every morning. Gasps rippled Aunt May's hand to her mouth. Uncle Joe's cough masking shock. Mom whimpered, a sound like a wounded bird. But Dad's face darkened to thunderhead purple. Nonsense. Boy's confused. Is all. Preacher's son. Raised right until bad influences. His eyes bored into Theo. The word you of venom unspoken. We fixed that mistake once. Won't abide it ruining my daughter's day. Theo's chair scraped back, the legs howling protest as he rose, heart hammering a dirge. Mistake. The word echoed, tasting of bile. You mean your son? The one you threw out like trash because I dared to be honest. Years of therapy sessions rage surged. Unfiltered. I fixed nothing. Dad. I survived. Built a life without your approval. Without the hypocrisy that chokes this table. And Alex. He's braver than us all. Choosing truth over your fairy tale. The room erupted, raised voices overlapping. Rita clutching her pearls. Joe muttering about city ways. Mom reached for Dad's arm, whispering please. But he shrugged her off, standing to match Theo's height. The patriarch unbowed. Truth. This ain't truth. It's perversion. Bible's clear, man with man. Abomination. You think running off changes God's word. Alex surged up then, his hand finding Theo's under the table's edge, anchoring him. With all due respect, sir, the Bible's got more on love than hate. And I love him. The declaration landed like a grenade, silencing the fray. Alex's voice steadied, green eyes fierce. Loved him since 18. Buried it to fit your mold. But Elena deserves real. Not my lie. And you, he turned to Mom, softening. You taught me mercy once. Mrs. Harlan. Show some now. Tears tracked Mom's cheeks, her gaze flickering to Theo, her boy, the one she'd rocked through fevers. Taught to knead dough. Oh, Theo, she murmured, stepping forward, arms opening like fragile bridges. He went to her, the embrace a dam breaking, her sobs soaking his shirt as childhood scents lavender soap. Faint vanilla wrapped him home. I prayed you'd come back whole. She whispered. Forgive me for not seeing you were. Dad watched, fists clenched, the war within etching lines deeper. Elena rose, circling to his side, hand on his shoulder. Daddy, please. He's our blood. And this wedding, it was never about perfection. It's about family messy. Real family. The storm outside peaked, lightning fracturing the dark, illuminating Dad's face in stark relief, anger yielding to something raw. Human. He sank back into his chair, deflated, voice gruff. Get out. All of you. Need to think. But as they filed toward the door, Theo supporting Mom, Alex guiding Elena, Dad's mutter followed. Church tomorrow. Be there. Or don't. Your choice. Outside, rain slicked the porch, the night air cool against heated skin. Theo leaned against the truck, breath ragged, the catharsis leaving him hollowed. Alex drew close, forehead to forehead, rain mingling with unshed tears. That was you, Theo. all fire and grace. Proud as hell. Elena hugged them both. Her laugh watery. Rehearsals canceled. Sleepover instead. Like old times. Minus the awkward. They piled into the old guest cabin. A relic of summers past. Its walls papered in faded florals. Blankets piled high. Stories unfurled till Dawn Elena's secret art classes in Wichita. Alex's failed stints at law school chasing approval. Theo's youth center triumphs. Laughter healed fissures. Vulnerability the thread stitching them anew. As sleep claimed them. Tangled in innocent heaps. Theo realized this was family. Not bloodlines, but chosen hearts. Resilient as Kansas clay. Morning broke clear. The farm steaming under sun. Birdsong a tentative truce. The church loomed white-steepled. Parking lot filling with kin. Theo walked the aisle alone first. Pulse thundering. Pews creaking as eyes tracked him, judgment mingling with curiosity. Dad waited at the altar. Bible in hand. Expression unreadable. When Theo reached him, the older man clasped his shoulder. Grip iron but eyes soft. Sit front row. Your sister's orders. No apology. But the gesture was bridge enough. Elena entered on Alex's arm. No. Wait. The roles flipped in this unscripted rite. She walked solo. Radiant in ivory lace. To a circle of chairs where vows became promises of friendship eternal. I release you, she told Alex. Voice steady. To the love that fits. Then, turning to Theo. And welcome you home. Brother. Fully. The congregation held breath as Alex knelt not in marriage. But confession taking Theo's hands before all. I ran once. Won't again. Marry me. Not today. But someday. When you're ready. Tears blurred the stained glass saints. But Theo's yes was clear. A vow to self as much as him. Applause erupted. Hesitant then full. Dad's nod the quietest thunder. In that moment, time folded past pains alchemized to present grace. The journey not ended but evolved. Weeks blurred into a tentative new normal. The Harlan farm a patchwork of mending fences, literal and figurative. Theo stayed on. His Chicago life on hold. Trading oil changes for hay baling. The physical ache a welcome distraction from emotional whiplash. Mornings dawned with Dad's grunted, coffee's hot. No warmth, but no venom. Progress measured in silences unbroken by scripture. Mom baked pies laced with extra sugar. Slipping them to Theo with sidelong glances that whispered I'm trying. Elena. Unbound now. Enrolled in online painting courses. Her studio a riot of canvases depicting fractured skies and intertwined figures, art as therapy. Beauty from breakage. Alex divided time between the Whitaker ranch and the farm. His preacher father a harder nut. Sermons thundering from the pulpit on wandering sheep. Yet glimmers showed, a handshake at Sunday potluck. A Bible verse texted love bears all things Alex's quiet rebellion. Evenings. The four of them gathered on the porch swing. Fireflies winking like conspirators. Stories weaving tighter bonds. Theo marveled at Elena's resilience. Her hurt transmuted to fierce advocacy. At Alex's patience. Courting him with wildflowers and whispered dreams. No rush. Just presence. But peace was fragile. Cracks spiderwebbing under pressure. Town whispers slithered Harlan boys back. Turning the groom queer escalating to slash tires on Theo's truck. Anonymous notes stuffed in mailbox slots, Sodom's seed. Leave or burn. Dad's jaw clenched at each report. Knuckles white on his mug. But he'd mutter. Folks'll come around. Or not. We stand. It was the closest to solidarity Theo had heard. A paternal thaw born of nights spent staring at old photos. Theo's boyhood grin mocking his regrets. Deeper still, Theo wrestled inner tempests. Nights alone in his old room, posters faded. Bed frame creaky traced the boy he'd been, the man he'd become. The chasm bridged by forgiveness half given. Therapy via phone with a Chicago counselor unearthed layers, resentment toward Elena for the life he'd envied, guilt for stealing Alex, terror that love would curdle under scrutiny. You're worthy, the voice assured. But doubt lingered. A shadow self-whispering freak. Outcast. The turning came mid-November. Harvest moon fat and golden. At the annual county barn dance, a litmus test of acceptance. Theo balked at first. Visions of pitchforks and jeers. But Alex's plea, dance with me under these stars. Show him we're unbreakable, tipped the scale. They arrived late. Truck lights cutting fog. The barn aglow with string lights and fiddle strains. Heads turned as they entered. Alex's arm around Theo's waist proprietary. Elena on Dad's. Her laugh a shield. The dance floor swirl boots stomping. Skirts twirling but eyes lingered. Murmurs buzzing. Then Uncle Joe clapped Theo's back. Gruff, heard you fixed old man Greeley's tractor. Owe you a beer. Small. Seismic. Rita pulled Elena aside, whispering support. Even Dad swayed with Mom. His glance at Theo holding not approval, but absence of disdain, of victory, quiet as dawn. Under the rafters, Alex drew Theo close, body sinking to a slow waltz, the world narrowing to heartbeats. Feel that? Alex murmured, breath warm on Theo's ear. That's home. You and me. Finally, Theo melted into it, fears dissolving in the rhythm, the barn's timbers echoing his surrender. Laughter followed Elena, dragging them into a hoedown line. Dad's reluctant twirl drawing cheers. For hours, they spun, sweat slicked and alive. The community's chill thawing in shared sweat and song. But kinks persisted. Alex's dad cornered him post-dance. Bible-thumping ultimatum, choose family or folly. Alex's response. A letter. Handwritten. Left on the parsonage desk. Love is the truest folly. Dad, join us in it. Days passed in radio silence. Alex's sleep fractured. Green eyes shadowed. Theo held him through it. Words inadequate. Touched the language of endurance. We'll build our own. Theo vowed, tracing Alex's knuckles, brick by heart. Elena's arc deepened to her first gallery show in Wichita. Abstract pieces titled Unveiled, selling 3 to strangers who saw their own fractures reflected. It's not just paint, she confided to Theo over cider. It's us broken open. Beautiful. Her pride swelled his. Sibling rivalry long dissolved into alliance. Winter crept in, snow blanketing sins, forcing introspection. Theo shoveled drives with Dad. Silences companionable now, evolving to grunts about weather. Then questions, that city job is it? Theo's honest some days opened floodgates. Dad's regrets over Vietnam scars. Lost brother. The fear that rigidity cost him a son. No sorry, but a shared thermos of coffee under aurora-veiled skies. Stars winking forgiveness. By New Year's, the farm hosted a makeshift party, string lights on the barn. Elena's paintings as backdrops. Invites went wide, Whitaker kin. Town skeptics. Even Alex's dad, who arrived stiff but stayed. Nursing punch as fiddles played. Toasts rang to reinvention. To love's unhidden. When Alex pulled Theo under mistletoe bough. Kiss soft then fierce. Cheers erupted. Dad's clapped the loudest. Yet growth's price lingered. A letter from Chicago. Youth Center needed him back. Jamie's crisis escalating, kid outed. Family fracturing. Theo agonized. Torn between new roots and old charges. Go. Alex urged. But come back. We're your anchor now. The goodbye at the bus station ached. Elena's hug fierce. Dad's handshake firm. Proud. Son. Mean it. Theo returned to the city, changed, vulnerable, shared. Armor shed. Sessions with Jamie mirrored his past. You're not broken, kid. Just bending toward light. Letters home flew weekly. Photos enclosed Theo and Alex at a pride march. Hands linked. Elena's latest canvas. A family portrait in oils. Whole. Spring bloomed reconciliation. Alex's dad visited. Bible swapped for questions. Gradual thaw to call me anytime. The farm greened. Symbol of renewal. As Theo planned his return permanent. This time, the journey's arc bent toward wholeness. Each step a testament, love not despite flaws, but through them, human and holy. Summer scorched the plains. Heat waves shimmering like mirages of doubt. Testing the fragile piece Theo had stitched from winter's threads. Back in Chicago full-time now. He'd commuted weekends at first. The L train his lifeline. But the pull southward grew insistenta gravitational ache for Alex's laugh echoing in empty barns. Elena's sketches pinned to his fridge. The farm's rhythm sinking his pulse. The youth center demanded more too. Jamie's progress inspired expansions. Group sessions swelling with scared faces mirroring his 18-year-old terror. You're my hero, Jamie scrawled in a card. Stick figure Theo wrenching a heart engine back to life. Hero. Theo scoffed inwardly. But the word lodged. A seed cracking open old soil. Conflict brewed subtly. As summer's doe thunderheads gathering unseen. Alex called one sweltering July evening. Voice edged with fatigue. Dad's relenting. Sorta. Invited us to supper. But the town's heating up graffiti on the feed store. Fags out. Dad says ignore. But Theo heard the unsaid. It hurts. His own days frayed a client at the garage. Burly ex-Marine. Spotting his pride sticker. Don't bring that here. Boy. Theo bit back retorts. But the sting lingered. Reminding him safety was illusion. Not guarantee. Elena's voice bridged gaps during drives home. Her updates laced with hope. Sold another piece. And guess what I am dating? Quiet guy from art class. No drama. Laughter bubbled. But Theo caught the undercurrent her singleness, a shield post-Alex. Now vulnerabilities bloom. Proud of you, he said. Meaning it. Sibling pride a balm to his gnawing impatience. The breaking point hit mid-August. A weekend escape to the farm turning tempest. They'd planned simple, bonfire. Beers. Stargazing. But Dad's cousin Earl bitter widower. Whiskey sour crashed uninvited. His truck barreling gravel as accusations flew. Ruining the family name. Harlan. That boy's poison always was. He jabbed at Theo across flames. Spittle flecked. Eyes wild. Alex tensed. Rising. But Theo waved him down. Firelight carving his resolve sharp. Poison. Theo's voice cut clean. Steady as prairie wind. Or just truth you choke on. I've spent years swallowing lies to fit your narrow world. No more. The group hushed Mom's gasp. Elena's hand on Earl's arm. Dad's silence a thunderhead. Earl lunged verbal. Slurs slinging like stones. Abomination. Leech on good folk. Alex exploded then. Shoving Earl back. Chest heaving. Enough. He's worth 10 of you. Earl fights for kids like we were. Builds instead of breaks. Fists clenched. But Theo pulled him close. The embrace of barricade. Dad stood finally. Slow as judgment. Voice booming out. Earl. Blood or not. Hate's got no seat here. Earl stormed off. Taillights fading. But the damage echoed shaken kin dispersing. Bonfire sputtering to embers. Alone under stars. Theo and Alex sat shoulder to shoulder. Elena curling beside. Mom's pie a peace offering. I'm sorry. Dad rumbled from the shadows. First words post-storm. Should have shut him down sooner. Seeing red. I reckon. No full mea culpa. But eyes met Theo's regret raw. paternal walls cracking. That night, in the guest room, Alex's touch was tentative, mapping scars emotional more than skin fingers tracing jaw, lips brushing temples. You were magnificent, he whispered. But Theo's mind whirled. Post-adrenaline crash, dredging doubts. What if it's always this? Fighting shadows. Vulnerability spilled. Fears of perpetual siege. Alex held tighter. Heartbeat Morse, then we fight together. Elena's counsel next morn. Over coffee black as resolve, it's not linear. Theo. Dad's trying asked about your center yesterday. Genuine. She sketched idly. Lines forming a phoenix from ash. We're the fire that refines, not destroys. Theo absorbed it. Resolve hardening. Back in Chicago, he channeled fury into action fundraiser for the center. Hearts in motion. Blending auto skills with story shares. Donations poured. Locals moved by his pitch. We don't fix people. We help them run true. Jamie emceed. Voice steady. A mirror of healing. Fall gilded edges. Harvest festivals a test run of normalcy. The family entered as unit Theo and Alex hand in hand. Elena with her artist beau Tim. Soft-spoken and kind. Dad manned the grill. Ribbing Tim good-naturedly. Even pulling Theo aside. Heard about that event. Good work, son. The words landed like rain on parched earth. Theo's throat tight. Means a lot. He managed. And Dad's nod sealed it, acceptance incremental. But irrevocable. Alex's arc peaked too, his dad. Reverend Whitaker. Hosted a community dialogue, awkward forum on love's many faces. Alex moderating with grace. Skeptics grumbled. But seeds planted. A teen approached post-meet. Whispering thanks. Eyes wide with possibility. Winter's hush brought milestones. Elena's exhibit in Kansas City. Family en masse, Dad buying the centerpiece. An abstract of intertwined roots. Reminds me of us. He grunted. And Theo's grin split wide. Theo's inner voyage deep in journaling nights. Pages filling with poetry raw. I in the exile returned. Not conqueror, but kin. Therapy unearthed joy beneath scars. Permission to thrive. Not just survive. Spring 2026 dawn, proposal, Alex on one knee by the quarry. Ring simple silver. Etch with us. Forever starts now, he said. And Theo's yes echoed across waters. A vow to the boy who'd dreamed there. The wedding planning wove them tighter, small. Heartfelt. Farm barn affair. Invites mended rifts. Whitaker kin RSVP'd full. Town holdouts trickling yes. Elena officiated. Her words poetry. Love isn't absence of storm, but dancing in it. Ceremony day. Sun-drenched. Vows exchanged amid cheers, Dad's tear-streaked pride. Mom's bouquet tossed to Elena. Reception swirled joy. Dances. Toasts. Earl absent, but forgiven in spirit. Theo. Ring glinting. Realized the arc's grace, from banishment to belonging. Time's gentle sculptor. Human frailty yielded to profound connection. The heart's quiet revolution complete. Yet revolutions circle back. Testing metal in unexpected gales. A year post-vows. The farm's idol fractured anew, not by external foes, but internal quakes long dormant. Theo and Alex had settled into a rhythm. Their Chicago-Wichita hybrid life a tapestry of compromises. Weekends at the center for Theo. Ranch consulting for Alex. Stolen midweeks in a cozy loft apartment overlooking the Arkansas River. Elena thrived. Her gallery shows drawing regional buzz. Tim her steady harbor. Mom's garden flourished. Dad's sermons softening to include Grace's wide table. The tremor struck subtly. A letter from Theo's pasta cousin in Seattle. Marcus's old flame. Enclosing photos, Theo and Marcus at a long-ago pride. Arms slung carefree. Found these cleaning. Thought you'd want. The note read. Innocuous. But to Theo, flipping through faded glossies, it unearthed buried strata, the raw bloom of first love. Marcus's laugh echoing like a half-healed wound. He shared with Alex over dinner, expecting solidarity. But Alex's smile faltered, green eyes clouding. Looks intense. You ever regret leaving? The question hung, innocuous on surface. But Theo sensed the undercurrent insecurities whisper. The groom who'd stolen, love-fearing echoes. No, Theo assured, cupping Alex's face. That was youth's fire. You're home. But seeds of doubt sprouted. Alex withdrawing into late-night calls to his dad. Confessions veiled, just feeling the weight. You know. Theo's own fissures widened under scrutiny. At the center, a new kid Rylan, 17. Farm-raised and freshly out-mirrored his terror so keenly it ghosted nightmares, dreams of porch exile. Dad's door slamming eternal. How'd you forgive? Rylan asked one session. Eyes hollow. Theo faltered. Truth spilling, haven't fully. It's layers. Kid peel one. Find another. Honesty bonded them, but left Theo raw, questioning if his healed facade masked resentment's ember. Elena's radar pinged first. Her call mid-harvest. Alex sounds off. Talk to Tim says he's pacing like a caged wolf. Theo deflected, but unease gnawed. Weekend at the farm confirmed. Alex overworked, snapping at Dad's jokes. Retreating to the barn for solitary smokisa habit Theo thought buried. Confrontation brewed porch side. Sunset bleeding orange. Fireflies early risers. Spit it out, Theo urged. Hand on Alex's knee. The swing creaking confessions rhythm. Alex exhaled smoke. Eyes distant. These photos. Stirred stuff. What if I'm the rebound? The safe choice after city lights dimmed. Vulnerability cracked him open. Years of preacher's son perfectionism spilling. Fear of inadequacy. Of loving too fiercely only to lose. Theo's heart clenched. Mirror to his doubts. Rebound. Christ. Alex. You're the spark that lit me after darkness. Marcus was chapter 1 beautiful. But not in-game. He pulled the photos from his pocket, tearing them slow. Deliberate. This is past. We're now messy. Real. Tears mingled. Embrace fierce. The swing their confessional. But ripples spread. Dad. Overhearing fragments. Pulled Alex aside next morn. Men falter. Son. But Harlan blood runs deep fight for it. Gruff counsel. Laced with his own marital scars. A patriarchal olive branch. Mom baked lemon bars Theo's favorite slipping one with a note. Roots hold storms. Lean in. Elena's intervention was artful. Surprise weekend retreat to the quarry. Tents pitched. Telescopes for stars. No phones. No pretense. She decreed. Tim stoking fire with morays and silence. Night fell velvet. Constellations wheeling as truths unfurled Alex admitting envy of Theo's easy city reinvention. Theo confessing farm phobia's cling. Laughter followed tears. Elena's stories of her own post-breakup spirals normalizing the ache. Growth's not straight line, she said, sketching constellations on notebook. It spirals deeper each turn. Rylan's progress paralleled. His family visit a triumph. Parents tearful but open. First hugs exchanged. Your words. Man. He texted Theo. Peeling layers. Inspiration looped back. Theo channeling it into a center workshop. Echoes and anchors. Groups sharing past haunts. Forging present strength. Alex's thaw came gradual joint therapy sessions via Zoom. A counselor versed in queer rural lives. Vulnerability's your superpower, she affirmed. And Alex leaned in. Doubts dissolving in shared excavation. Fall's foliage turned therapy's page, family harvest feast. Tables groaning under bounty. Toasts to resilience. Dad raised glass. To storms past and those that make us. Earl even attended. Apology mumbled over pie. Handshake ceiling. Winter brought renewal's gift, Alex's book outline. Prairie Hearts. Essays on hidden loves and heartland soil Theo's forward. Raw memoir snippet. Elena, illustrated cover. Roots entwining rainbows. Spring 2027 bloomed adoption talks fostering a queer teen. Ryland's Pier. Circle completing. Doubts. Lingered faint. But as lifelines. Not anchors. Theo. Watching Alex read to their future charges photo. Realized, journey spiral. Yes but upward. Toward light's embrace. Human bonds the truest map. Time's river curved onward. Carving canyons of change that tested not just pairs, but tribes. 2 years married. Theo and Alex's life had rooted deep Wichita aloft their hub. Farm weekends sacred. The center's branch opening downtown under Theo's helm. Ryland, now 19. Intern there. His easy grin a beacon for newcomers. Elena's solo exhibit in New York beckoned. Tim her wingman. Pride their shared language. Dad's church hosted inclusive suppers. Potlucks blending skeptics and allies. Mom's casseroles the great equalizer. The gale hit from blue skies, Dad's diagnosis. Prostate cancer. Stage 3 whispered in clinic's sterile hush. Harlan Sr.'s bravado cracking. Beat worse. He grunted to Theo over phone. Voice gravel rough. But the fear beneath was palpable. A giant felled by invisible foe. Family converged. The farm a command center of scans and second opinions. Elena's art therapy sketches lining fridge as talismans. Theo drove through. But grief's underbelly stirred old ghosts. Resentments flicker at bedside vigils. Why now? When we've just mended. Alex sensed it. Nights holding Theo as sobs racked not for the man dying. But the father lost twice. It's okay to rage. Alex murmured. Love's got room for it. Elena confided similar. Feel guilty for joy's taint on this. Her paints turning somber blues. Chemo's regime brutalized Dad gaunt. Temper flaring at helplessness. Lashing at nurses. At God. One night. Post-infusion haze. He beckoned Theo to porch. Oxygen tank hissing companion. Regrets. Boy. Plenty. Voice wee soft. Eyes meeting unblinking. Threw you out thinking it'd save you. Save myself. Maybe from mirror's truth. Pause. Hand trembling on railing. Proud now. Of all. Forgive. Theo's throat closed. Years ledger balancing in heartbeat. Already did. Dad. Long ago. Hug followed. Frail but fierce. The porch swing their confessional anew. Mom wept joining. Triangle sealed in twilight. Ryland's insight pierced. My folks came around slow, yours raced to catch up. Group session morphed memorial planning. Kids sharing lost stories. Theo facilitating through tears. Grief's not end. He taught. It's soil for growth. Alex's steadiness anchored cooking nutrient bombs. Driving to treatments. His book launch postponed without regret. Family first. He said. But Theo saw toll, sleepless eyes. Worries etch. Reciprocity bloomed Theo planning date nights. Quarry picnics echoing courtship. Reigniting sparks dimmed by duty. Elena's New York trip became lifeline scouting queer art collectives. Returning with contacts for center collaborations. Her energy infectious. Dad's fighting like hell. She reported. Says chemo's nothing to stubborn Harlan blood. Fall's chemo cycle peaked crisis. Infection landed, Dad hospitalized. Monitors beeping dirge. Family vigil blurred days, Theo reading auto mags aloud. Alex strumming guitar hymns secularized. Elena sketching portraits capturing Dad's wry grins. Reverend Whitaker visited. Prayer joint with Alex sold wounds salved and shared plea. Rally came Thanksgiving. Dad home frail but feisty. Table graced by his carving knife. Toast slurred but sincere. To fighters. And lovers. Laughter rang. Rylan guest of honor. His foster placement with Theo Alex pending approval. Winter's solstice brought remission whispers cans clearish. Doc's cautious optimistic. Celebration muted. Farm lit with lanterns. Stories swapped till dawn. Dad's war tales softened. Theo's exile recast redemption. Spring 2028 unfurled adoption little Kai. 12. Wide-eyed from group home. His bunk bed Theo's old room. First family dinner chaotic spilled milk. Kai's shy questions but joy's pure note. Dad. Recovering. Gifted wrench set. Build something good. Kid. Lineage past. Unbroken. Elena's gallery opening coincided Theo family road tripped. Kai wide-mouthed at city lights. Dad's wheelchair no barrier. Her peace roots revised family tree rainbow vein sold to collector who wept. My story too. Theo's reflection deepened. Journal entries elegies to growth. Therapy affirming. You've alchemized pain to purpose. Center thrived. Chapters spawning rural outposts. Online forums. Anniversary hike. Alex and Theo crested hill overlooking plains. Kai scouting ahead. 10 years from that call. Alex mused. Ring glinting. Chose right. Theo nodded. Horizon vast. Every storm led here stronger. Woven tight. Kiss sealed. Kai's whoop echoing. Life's spiral ascending. Human tapestry rich with flaw and grace. Decades tapestry unfurled in threads fine as spider silk. Weaving the Harlan saga into Heartland lore, quiet legend of exile's return. Love's defiance blooming in unlikely soil. By 2045. Theo Harlan Whitaker. Silver threading his temples. Steered the center's national network from Wichita headquarters. Outposts dotting prairies like way stations for wandering souls. Alex. Lines etching laugh crinkles around green eyes. Consulted on sustainable farms. His book a dog-eared staple in rural libraries. Prairie Hearts inspiring dialogues from pulpits to parliaments. Kai. Now 29. Had carved his path mechanic like Theo. With artist's soul like Elena. Married to his college sweetheart in a barn ceremony echoing origins. Grandkids toddled farm paths. Their giggles chasing fireflies. Dad's old swing creaking under new weight. Harlan Sr. 87 and cane-bound. Spun yarns from rocker war stories softened. Exile tales reclaimed as the hard lesson that saved us. Elena. Gray-streaked auburn in elegant bob. Helmed a Kansas City collective. Her murals adorning city walls. Intertwined figures against stormy skies. Captions love's quiet thunder. Tim. Her anchor. Retired teacher. Coaxed gardens from concrete. Their home a haven for visiting artists' queer kin from coasts. Finding Midwest welcome. Challenges lingered. As lives do health scares. Like Alex's knee replacement post-ranch mishap. Theo's fretful vigil mirroring old chemo nights. Societal backslides. Town eddies of prejudice flaring election years. Center intakes spiking. But resilience compounded, family summits over potlucks. Strategies shared. Dad's gruff, we Harlan Whitakers don't bend easy. Ryland's arc closed poignant settled in Denver with husband and twins. Visiting annual. His foster testimonial center's cornerstone video. Theo showed me exiles just a detour to tribe. Kai's kids called him Uncle Rye. Bedtime tales of the boy who fixed hearts. Theo's inner chronicle. Journals spanning decades. Culminated memoir draft, wrench and wings. Vignettes of bending without breaking. Therapy evolved to mentorship. Guiding young counselors through their spirals. Climax crested Dad's 90th. Farm gala under harvest moon lanterns swaying. Fiddles calling square dances. Kin converged, cousins mended. Whitaker elders toasting prodigal graces. Even Earl's widow. Tales of his late life thaw. Elena emceed. Voice misting. From bands to blessings, this is our harvest. Vows renewed impromptu. Theo and Alex under strung lights. Rings refreshed. Words honed by time. Through storms and silences. I choose you again. Always. Cheers thundered. Kai's twins scattering petals. Dad's tear-glint pride. Elena pulled Theo aside post-dance. Sketchpad gifted. Family tree evolved. Branches rainbow-vined. Names etched eternal. Our story. She whispered. Not end. But echo. As stars wheeled. Theo reflected, from rain-lashed motel hook. Through fractures mended. To this wholeness time's gift. Not linear triumph, but circular grace. Human frailty. Once chain. Became strength. Love. Not absence of pain. But presence through it. The farm slumbered. But in every heart. Revolution hummed quiet. Profound. A legacy for wanderers yet to come. In the end. Not perfection. But persistence, the gay's son welcomed. The groom's run redeemed. Family's band lifted to embrace. And in that hold, meaning bloomed eternal.